You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
I just Chance like us, baby, we were born to
And now it's time for another edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam with your hosts, the Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice. This is the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity, and welcome one and all to a very special Chiefs edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam, the show made up of Seahawk fans from around the world talking about your Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks. Over the next few moments we share together, we hope that you are entertained, we hope you are enthralled, and we hope you are enlightened as we discuss the upcoming game for your defending Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks against the Kansas City Chiefs. So sit back, relax, grab a desired beverage or sit of your choice, and remember, all Chiefs and no Indians make for a bad show. As is the usual with every show, we are not alone. No, I am joined like I am every episode by the 12th Man Fan Jam Posse, a ragtag group of diehard Seahawk fans from around the world. First, the Ying to my Yang. You can find his Minecraft videos on the Suffolk Blue YouTube channel. He is our commander-in-chief of all things British. From merry old England, Matt. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you this evening, morning?
Morning, but glad to be back. Obviously missed last week's because of the change of times now that you're a multi-mega media star.
Yes.
But I bring good news and bad.
Oh, okay. I'd like to hear the good news, please.
Well, the good news is Thanksgiving is coming up very soon, 27th of November.
Yes, it is. What's the bad?
We don't celebrate that over here, so I don't get any turkey. I don't get any vacation. I get nothing. I just get to hear about you guys eating lots of turkey and having time off.
Nothing.
Nothing.
You get nothing. Good day, sir.
Good day.
Yes, that's how you celebrate your Thanksgiving. Speaking of Thanksgiving, we're very thankful that this person is also back from behind enemy lines. He is the chief of all things statistical. He is Statsman Mark. Mark, hi.
Hello, everybody. And once you know it, I got a text just as my intro was coming in. Anyway, I wanted to say that while Kansas City is an excellent place, known for its barbecue, Beast Mode has a better grill in his teeth.
Oh, nice. The
He's on
grill
fire.
reference has been made. The barbecue reference has been made. We can move on. And finally, in our guest seat this evening from the wonderful country of the Great White North, a return guest who is chief of throw punches. He's our own Northernhawk Andy. Hi, Andy.
Good day, 12th Man Nation. How is everyone tonight?
Awesome, Andy. Welcome to the show. We're glad you could be on this evening.
Thanks for having me back.
It's good to have your back and your front and the rest of you.
But
For those of you wondering real quick about Will, Will, I know, is going to the Kansas City game. Dustin couldn't be here as well, but Will is actually flying the Kansas City game with his dad. So, Will, don't eat the food. That's all we have to say there. If you've seen that article, that's pretty disgusting. Well, the intros have been made, so let's get to this show. For those who've listened before, thank you for joining us again. And for those who are listening for the first time, don't worry. We promise we'll be gentle, and we promise to be Kim Kardashian free. And the kids love that. Hey, kids, we're not going to talk about Kim Kardashian's butt tonight. All right. Kids love it. They love it. If I want, I'm going to say real quick. I'm going to say one thing. If I wanted to stare at a big butt for a long time, I would simply sit and watch a Jerry Jones press conference. All right. Moving on. The show is run with 4 quarters, just like a real NFL game. The first quarter will be news. We'll talk about NFL news that you may have missed that's fallen through the cracks while you were too busy staring at Kim Kardashian. Quarter 2 will be spent during last week's game, the 38-17 victory for the Seahawks over the New York Football Giants. Our 2-minute warning of the right before half, we will do our picks from last week, our prognostications and game balls. We did pretty well. Halftime is once again a true international version of halftime trivia that you too can play along if you're watching. But we have someone from Canada, someone from England, and someone from the United States all participating, representing their countries well. Mark, no pressure there. Quarter 3 we'll talk about Seahawk news, injuries, updates, and then quarter 4 we'll do our predictions, prognostications, and game balls and talk about the keys to the game. So without further ado, let us go into the news. Yes, it's time for the 12th Man Fan Jam news. News of the NFL world that you may have missed because you were too busy avoiding the internet because of somebody's butt all over the internet. Here's the news, usually done by Will, but I'm going to give you a couple of news stories myself. Apparently, we're going to start in Dallas. There's a contract extension going to be due one Mr. Dez Bryant, and apparently he's having a little rough time. See, he can become a free agent after next season, and although Cowboys offensive tackle Tyron Smith previously got a pretty massive deal, it's been reported that the Cowboys have offered Bryant some pretty nice contracts, but it hasn't been enough. So Dez Bryant said what Dez Bryant would say, basically said, I know I'm going to accept, and I know what I'm not going to accept. You know, it's not about the money. It's not about none of that. I just feel like a little respect should play a factor in that. I love it here. I really do, but every day you grow. Let's see what happens. It's all about respect. It's all about respect. I'm a loyal person, but just don't test my loyalty. To which Jerry Jones replied, what we want to do is have an agreement for the rest of Dez's career. To me, that says a lot about the concern about off-field issues if we want him on the Cowboys for the rest of his career. It doesn't sound to me, Mark, like it's much about he says it's not about the money, but he's saying at the same time, don't test my loyalty. A little mixed signals there, you think?
Well, there's a lot of things mixed up when it comes to Dez. I mean, how many times do we hear this phenomenal talent, or with still upside, and it's exhausting to think about athletes like this now. Who knows what will happen? I mean, ultimately, I think Jerry Jones, if he's smitten with the guy, and this is one of those people, then he'll probably get what he wants, even if he puts his foot in his mouth and does whatever else he does on Twitter or social media, or he's just one of those guys, man.
Yes, I totally agree with it. Andy, do you think he's worth the big contract, or do you think his off-field issues have to play a factor?
It's if I mention the name Percy Harvin, would that be too soon?
Nice.
Maybe cut from the same cloth without upsetting Mr. Bryant. He's obviously a very talented player, but there's teams that aren't going to put up with that kind of crap in the dressing room, right? So it's not good for chemistry. I think we all know that. You got to find the balance between talent on the field and chemistry and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's
a tough call.
Hey, don't worry about saying anything about Dez Bryant. He doesn't listen to this show. Don't worry about it. Nobody listens. We don't care.
There you go.
Hey, Matt, I got a question for you. Have you ever called in sick to work and you really weren't sick? No. Any of you guys, Andy, you ever call in sick when you really weren't sick?
Sometimes you just got to take a me day.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, here's the thing. Apparently, when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles, Ty Detmer told his brother Coy he faked a knee injury to land on the injured reserve. The incentive was that it would hide Coy on injured reserve and use the 53rd spot on the roster for another player. So here's the story. Ty Detmer told the story. He said, Coy came up to me like a couple of days before the day, and he was like, hey, they want me to go in injured reserve so they can keep me around. What do you think? Ty says, I'm like, well, if they're going to keep you around, I would not do it. So the day before practice, Coy comes up and says, okay, today's the day. So we're kind of in team period at the end of practice, and they're like, all right, Coy, you're in. So Coy goes in, runs a play, runs another play, looks at me and gives me a wink. And I'm trying not to laugh because I know what's going to go down. It's a running play. He hands off the ball, and as he's coming out after the handoff to carry this bootleg fake, he goes down and rolls around and grabs his knee. And the whole practice field is kind of like, what happened? And guys are coming up to me and saying, oh man, is that the same knee he hurt at Colorado? And I'm like, yeah, I think so. Maybe he just twisted it a little bit. So they end up bringing a cart out, cart him off the field. Practice ends, and I go into the training room, and he's just sitting there laying in the training room table with a towel over his face, and I just kind of raise the corner up and peek, and he's got this big old grin on his face. And he says, how was that for my acting job? I had to get out of there because I was about to die laughing. The rest of the team, you can't say anything because no one's supposed to know. So, the media wasn't at practice that day. It was by design. Matt? Your thoughts on this? Is this, this guy literally faked a knee injury and went on injury reserve and he wasn't hurt?
It's you can do it. Does he get fined for it?
No, that's just it.
This apparently is the only thing in the NFL you can't get fined for these days. I mean, swearing, you'll get fined for it. Tackling, you'll get fined for it. So somebody chuck this bloke a fine. But I don't know why a player would. I just don't know. I just think sometimes these players have got far too much time on their hands at practice.
They do. They definitely do.
Perhaps they should play soccer because soccer is all about acting, isn't it? It's all about falling over and pretending you're hurt.
It definitely
perhaps
is.
You should go and play soccer.
Andy, would you fake a knee injury for the team?
Oh man, I mean, you got to remember NFL is not for long, right?
Yeah.
I think these guys, and that's what we see in Russell Wilson, right? Russell Wilson, every time he goes on the field, he looks like he's genuinely just happy to be there, and he's, he counts his blessings every time he puts the pads on and stuff. So
he does.
And that's a bad way to mess with karma because you never know, man. All of a sudden, bang, you've blown an ACL or something like that. No, definitely not.
Well, I actually have audio. Here is Coy Detmer on the injury, as a matter of fact.
Not gonna ask, man. I'm not gonna ask.
Okay, that's the injury.
Nope, ain't going there.
No, let's not go there. Let's change the subject. Let's talk about Tom Brady. Our final story here. Oh, Matt, go ahead, or Mark, go ahead.
Moses, was that Coy Detmer or Ron Jeremy?
That's no knee injury.
Oh,
I just can't believe a Mormon would participate in such stuff.
And his 5 wives picked him up and carried him off the field.
Yeah,
it's like that mission was a lie.
Oh, we've hit the Mormons, we hit the Cowboys. It's not even the second quarter yet. Oh, Ron Jeremy's been mentioned. This has been great. All right, here's our final story. Tom Brady is our article here. How does the 37-year-old Tom Brady continue to play at a level that confounds and overwhelms players more than a decade younger? You know what? It's not drugs. Here's his answer. Are you ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
I go to bed very early. I think the decisions I make are always probably centered around performance enhancement, if that makes sense. So whether that is what I eat or what decisions I make or what I drink or don't drink, I'm always football centric. I want to be the best I can be every day. He goes to bed at like 8:30 every night.
You seen his wife?
Right?
I'd be going to bed at 8:30 every night too.
And
I'd get out of bed. I'd fake a knee injury for that.
Would you be thinking of performance in increasing as well?
Can I go back and talk about the knee injury faking thing? Because if that's my wife, I'm faking a knee injury.
This would be him. Right. Here's 8:35. 8:36. 8:38.
Oh my goodness.
I'm gonna play that all night. That's gonna be our thing. All right. Woo.
Wow.
Tom Brady bet at 8:30. Do you think he goes and gets like the early bird at like the Golden Corral at like 3:30 or something?
Yep.
With all the old gray hairs. I watched Matlock and I go right to bed. Oh my God. Whew. Well, I don't know how we could possibly top this first quarter, but I think it's time to give this first quarter an ending.
So I got one more key injury thing. I don't know if you guys talked about
please
this.
share. Please share.
So this touches home for all of us, of course, but I'm seeing a report today that Navarro Bowman may not play at all this season.
Yes.
So while I hate to wish injury on anybody, I think there's nothing but good for the Seahawks as far as, that final push to the playoffs and all that kind of stuff. I think that's a big loss for the 49ers. So just thought I'd throw that in there.
I agree. They held a press conference. Navarro Bowman spoke about his knee, and he said the following.
Poor old lad.
Navarro Bowman, everybody. Woo! All right.
America's Got Talent.
America's Got Talent. And we've got the end of the first quarter.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
We'll take a short break. We will come back and talk about the New York Giants football game that we just played. The Seahawks won last week 38-17. We'll talk about that right after this quick station identification.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Kansas City, gonna get my baby back home. Yeah, yeah. I'm going to Kansas City, gonna get my baby back home. Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a long, long time since my baby's been gone.
And now it's time for the second quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to take you through the second quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Welcome to the second quarter of a very special Chiefs edition of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here with my 12th Man Fan Jam posse. That would be Mark from California. We have Andy from Canada, and we have, of course, Matt from merry old England. So we're going to spend this quarter talking about the 38-17 victory of the Seattle Seahawks over the New York Giants last Sunday. Mark, what did you take away from that game?
Well, I was almost exhausted myself after watching us run as many yards as we had. That was just it was nice. I like the fact that we rallied in the second half. I figured we'd win the game, but it was a little frustrating I think we were behind by 3 at halftime, weren't we?
Yes, we were.
So it was amazing. I mean, those rushing totals and I just think about that game and it's just the rushing attack with Beast 140 and Wilson 110, I think, and there was a Christine Michaels sighting when it actually counted, and yes. So we get 70 yards on 4 carries there.
Let me ask you, Andy.
Yeah.
Are you concerned about Russell Wilson running for 100 yards as opposed to throwing for 300?
Concern? No. I do. It does concern me a little bit that we're not a little more balanced, perhaps. Obviously we've talked about him already, but obviously losing a guy like Harvin, or the talent that he has the potential to bring to the field when he wants to play, it would be nice to be a little more balanced. Obviously, we ran the ball fantastic, right? 350 yards. That's impressive. But it would have been nice to see a little more of an air attack. We had a couple pretty nice throws. I recall a wide open throw to Curse, but again, that was on a Russell Wilson scramble as well. So I'm not sure if it's just the coaching staff just doesn't have the confidence in some of these non-Doug Baldwin players, or if it's just the defense they're seeing, or what it is. But if I had it my way, we'd be a little more balanced. Yes.
Well, it seemed to me, first off, I had a friend ask me who's not a Seahawk fan at the end of the game. He said, "Is it you guys being really good or the Giants being really bad?" And I said, "Yes," because I'll be honest. Now that we have this quarterback, and since we're all fans of this team, we've become pretty well versed in this thing called the read option, where he takes the ball, Russell takes the ball, and he either gives it to Marshawn or a running back, or he keeps it himself, and he keeps his eye on that end of the defense. And every time he ran, that defensive end was so far in, there were 30 yards of nothing in front of them. How could he not run? Yeah. And I think a lot of it was just, it's there. And my mother was up here because of my son's birthday, and she's always nervous about Russell running. Oh, I'm so nervous when he runs. I said, but look, he's got like 50 yards of real estate. How can he not go get 20 yards when they give it to him? So to me, I think it was more a case of them just not defending the read option well at all, as opposed to the other way.
And I totally agree with you. I guess what my pregame thought was after watching the Giants, I think were the Monday night game this week, were they not, or last week? I remember watching the Giants game the previous weekend, and they kept talking about how they had their secondary was all banged up, and they were missing so many people in the secondary, blah blah blah. So I fully expected Seattle to come out and take all kinds of advantage of that, but wasn't there. So I'm not sure if that's something to be worried about, or if it was. I mean, I totally agree with you. If the space is there, you got to run with it and you got to take it. And obviously we were very successful with it. But I'm hoping that's what it was.
Yeah, in the words of Bear Bryant, when you throw the ball, 3 things happen. 2 of them are bad. So if you can run the ball with all that real estate, I think you do it. Matt, what are your views on the game? I mean, were you concerned about all the yards running by our quarterback? Were you concerned about the lack of passing yards? Defensively, how do you think we did?
No, I mean, you've got to do what's working. I think that's the key of the game for me. You've got to do what works. And as Chuck said on 12th Fan View, feed the beast, give him the ball. It's working on first down. Give him the ball. He's getting 8 yards. Now, there's 2 interceptions, Wilson, and I think one of those was a little bit was probably his fault. The other one, they just made a good play. But run what's working. We are a run-based team. We've always said we were a run-based team. So I don't quite understand how we can be so surprised when we win a game by running. It's what we do. I think when we get behind, if we do get behind by a serious margin, I do like to feel that we've got the throw game there, because that's where I need to take risks. That's where I expect to see the ball, for the deep passes down the field. I expect to see that then. And I think actually with our receivers, with Curse, with Baldwin, and increasingly with our tight ends as well, with Helfert and see what's the new bloke's name? Moriaki. And others, and see how they get on. But no, I'm not surprised that we ran the ball. I'm surprised that we didn't give the ball more to Marshawn, because it was working.
Yeah, it was working. What wasn't working in the first half, we were down by 3 points, Mark, and their receivers. What was it? Now, let me ask you this: a question I was asked: was it a case at first half? Now it got better in the second half, but in the first half, was it a case of us not playing good defense, or their receivers just making amazing catches?
Probably, a little of both. Excuse me. I mean, Sherman did comment after the game that is it Odell Beckham? Is that his name?
Yeah.
That he's the real deal, and that's high praise coming from Sherman, especially after only facing this guy once. So it was kind of a it's one of those things where it was just typical of. It reminded me a little bit of last year in the first half, where we were a bit sluggish, and then the second half we rallied, and I've never felt too worried with this game, but it's just frustrating to not to put it away early. Although we've had games this year too where we play a great first half, and then the second half we make it way more interesting than it needs to be, like it was against the Raiders the week before.
Andy, did Eli get a little too confident there in the second half and start make serious mistakes, you think?
A little bit, but they weren't running the ball, so if you can't run, you got to throw, and they did take advantage of that in the first half a bit, and very frustrating. You know, I always watch. I tape every game I go to live because I always want to watch it when I get home. You know, effective. And you know, I saw a lot of coverage with the guys not turning to face the ball.
Mm-hmm.
I think so. You know, your first question about you know, were they playing that good, or were they taking advantage of us a bit? Like, there was some pretty impressive pass plays that they finished, but like I said, it's very frustrating to watch a professional football player run down the field in coverage.
Yes, I agree. I had said the people I was watching the game with that Eli gets kind of confident in the first half. He got kind of confident, and he probably should have. But when he gets confident, he has a tendency to force things. And there was absolutely no reason for him to throw that ball in the end zone that got tipped, because he was covered entirely by number 25. And he looked him, and he never looked him off. And it just seemed to me like Eli got a little bit more confident in the second half. And I think it kind of cost him a little bit. I mean, do you think he got a little sloppier?
Well, I don't know about sloppy necessarily. I think he got complacent because Beckham had a hell of a game. I mean, he had 108 yards, 7 receptions. He was playing well. You know, it was almost as if he couldn't do any wrong. It was almost as if, double coverage the bloke, he would still get the ball. So, you know, a Manning brother somehow manages to you know, try and launch one down there, and it didn't quite work out. And I like the fact that it was a tip. I like the fact that you know, Sherman actually didn't make the interception. It sort of echoed the famous tip, but no,
in the same spot too.
In the same spot, but I actually don't think he became sort of, you know, cocky. I think he became complacent, and that's, you know, a different thing entirely.
All right, good. Any last words on this game before we move on about the Giants game?
The only thing I would say is that this week we're supposed to get some snow, aren't we?
Yes.
At the stadium. And again, another situation where we're going to have a wet ball, a slippery ball. I don't know what was wrong with our ability to handle the ball, but that needs to. We should be practicing with moist balls. That's.
Go ahead, Andy. Moist balls. Let's hear it.
Yeah. No. I'm not going to touch those moist balls. But, yeah, I mean, you got
to think. What you should play, Moses, is Ed Hockley stretching his balls.
Yeah, there you go.
We're stretching our balls.
We were pretty fortunate on some of those. You know, we had 2 on the same drive, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we actually got the ball back. I mean, those are game-changing moments. So I 100% agree. If it's going to be snowing, and you know, it was pretty chilly and it rained a lot on Sunday. I don't know if that showed on TV or not. I know
it did.
It sure looked, but
definitely
did. You're bang on. I mean, we got to put the stick on the gloves if it's going to snow. I don't think too many times you're going to get away with that and still get with a win.
I agree. Well, let's. You're going to say something?
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I was just going to say that the wet balls were nuts in that game.
There you go. All right. Let's go to 2-minute warning and see how we did on our predictions.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
Yes, it's time for the 2-minute warning. Time to look at our predictions, prognostications, and game balls from last week's 38-17 victory. The predictions are up on your screen now. I said 31-17. That's pretty good. Will said 27-17. Dustin said 31-10. Mark said 31-20. So, you know, I think, you got to give that one to me. I'm sure, you know. Yay me! 31-17, that's pretty good. I get a star by my name on that one. If you look at the prognostications, our prognostications were pretty good too. I said Manning would have 3 INTs because, like I said, I thought he would get cocky and he would, you know, start throwing the ball. He only had 1. Will said 200 yards for Wilson and 2 TDs. I gave him 172, even though, of course, then he ran for another 100 and 1 touchdown. Mark said Richardson 2 touchdowns, and, you know, did he have a catch? Sorry. But the winner was Dustin. Dustin said that Earl Thomas would get an interception, and he did. So, congratulations to Dustin. If you're listening, you got that one right, buddy. Game balls, I said Bennett. Will said Wilson. Dustin said Earl Thomas and Mark said Richardson. I don't know out of that group. Would you give it to Wilson or Thomas? I'm not sure. I guess you give it to Wilson for running for 100 yards and throwing for 172. What's the third time this year he's run for 100 yards or something?
Yeah, it's his third time and a touchdown, so yeah.
So we'll give that one to Will. Congratulations, Will. You're in Kansas City and you won game balls. All right.
Wet game balls.
Wet game balls. Because if they're moist balls, we'll have to work on it. Okay. We are going to head to halftime.
Holy sh! It's halftime!
This time for a very international version of halftime trivia that you too can play along with if you're watching and listening to the show. Should be a lot of fun. We'll take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Hey, this is Matt, all the way from merry old England, and you're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12th Man Fan Jam halftime trivia with your host. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. It's the Reverend Moses. Yes, thank you, me, and welcome to 12th Man halftime trivia. Let's meet our contestants, shall we? I know I'm excited to meet our contestants, and I know you are too. So, let's start out in California, in sunny, beautiful California, where 49er fans can't seem to fill a new stadium.
Welcome to the Hotel California.
There's plenty of seats in the Hotel California, and one of them is owned by our very own Statsman Mark.
Hello, everybody.
And the crowd goes wild. All right, we're cheering for Mark. And also we have from the land of Queen and crumpets and tea. He's always tried to teach Americans a thing or two about their own sport. God save the Queen, man. He's Matt from merry old England.
We mean it, man.
That's right. God save the Queen, baby.
God save that Queen.
Gotta love the Sex Pistols.
Gotta.
All right, enough of that. And finally, from the Great White North, he snorts snow for a living. He's no Canadian idiot. He's Andy. Hi, Andy.
Good day, eh?
Don't wanna be a Canadian.
I do.
All right.
Don't wanna be some beer swilling hockey night.
All right, here's how the game's played.
What's wrong with being a beer swilling hockey night anyway?
Well, I don't want to be some kind of frostbeaten hosehead either. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get a point. After 2 rounds of questions, there will be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner will indeed crowned 12th Man Fan Jam halftime trivia champion for this week. The questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so the viewer and listener can play along as well if you wish. If you do, let us know how you did on the questions. We're interested to hear. There are 3 rules. No Googling. You cannot Google. You cannot phone a friend, especially for Matt, because it's way too early in the morning. And please, this is all done in fun. No wagering. However, as I did this last week, I took my 2 kids, Little Mo and Mosette, the voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam in between quarters, Mosette and Little Mo, and I had them take the very same trivia questions that you all took. So, if you would like to know how the kids did, one time, either first round or second round, you can say, I want to ask the kids. And then I'll tell you what the kids said. Now, I won't tell you if it's right or not, but I'll tell you what the kids said. So, everybody clear on the rules?
Amen.
All right,
Yes,
no throw
sir.
punching. We will go with our guest,
What?
Andy. 1 through
throw
4,
punching.
Andy. Andy, 1 through 4, what question would you like?
Lucky number 3.
Lucky number 3. All right. We will then go with Mark. Mark, what question would you like? 1, 2, or 4?
4.
Goes with 4. And 1 or 2 for Matt.
I need a number 1.
Matt needs a number 1. All right, here we go. Our first question goes to Matt.
Okay.
And I really wish it had gone to Andy, and he'll know why here in a minute. In 1984, the Seahawks shut out the Kansas City Chiefs in Seattle. What was the final score?
45-0.
Was the score 42-0, 45-0, or 51-0?
45-0.
And I'm giving you some Oregon anyway, baby.
I don't need it.
He says 45-0.
45-0.
Oh my gosh. You're right. And the crowd goes wild. It is 45-0, and Matt takes a 1-0 lead. All right. Andy, it's your turn.
Okay.
In a 10-year span from 1988 to 1998, Seahawks and Chiefs played 22 times. How many games out of 22 did Seattle win? 3, 4, or 5?
Oh, not enough, obviously.
Yeah, I know. It's awful, isn't it?
Come on.
You want some Oregon?
3, 4. Oh, give me the Oregon, baby.
Give me some Oregon.
Give me some Oregon. Don't hold back. Wow.
3, 4, or 5.
That is not good. Between what years did you say? 88 and 98 or something?
1988 and 1998. They played 22 times. Did the Seahawks win 3, 4, or 5 of those times?
I'm going to just get a guess and go number 3.
He's going to guess number 3. He guessed number 3.
Guess number 3. Oh, I'm at 4.
Sorry. The answer was 5.
Well,
Mosek got that one right, but Little Mo said 3. He was with you.
That's metric.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, God.
I was trying to keep this
like
American for you.
Let's try to take 10 wins for you Canadians. All right, if I represent the United States, it's Mark. Mark,
Yes,
the question is this. Who won the very first meeting between the Seahawks and the Chiefs? Was it the Seahawks or the Chiefs? First meeting, 1977.
Well, I'm going to say Seahawks.
You're going to say Seahawks.
Say positive, Mark. I like it.
I do too. Actually, no, it's right. I just kidding. It is the Seahawks, 34-31. The kids had No, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just, it's amazing because taking tests all through school and those true false 50-50 odds, I always guess wrong. So I'm glad. I am impressed by Matt's opening answer because it was like name that tune. He had the answer in one note.
I know.
Well,
It's amazing.
I think you got to give me. I'm throwing a challenge flag on that one. That's
the kids both.
You mentioned Andy.
My Canadian lawyers will be in touch.
45-0.
The kids both said Chiefs, which was weird, but no, the Seahawks won. Yeah, I know. At 45-0, man, you had that ready to go. So we're going into round 2, and we're once again 5 through 8. These are Kansas City questions. Andy, what number would you like?
5, but you'll probably give me 3.
Andy will go with number 5. Mark?
Number 8.
Mark goes number 8. And 6 or 7 for Matt.
7, please.
All right, here we go. Oh, Andy, I'm so glad you picked this.
Yeah.
Because 45. We're doing something we've never done.
Uh-oh.
And that is have a musical question. That's right. What you're listening to is the hit That's the Way I Like It by Casey and the Sunshine Man.
Amen.
My question is this. When did this song reach number 1 in the United States? Was it October 1975, November 1975, or October 1976?
I hate you in a whole special way right now.
Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Sure. Let's go November 1975.
He's going November 1975. The kids went October 1975 and October 1976. But they were wrong. You got it right.
Oh, look at that.
Nice.
I love you.
Yes, Andy gets on the board and has a point. Now we go to Matt. Matt, you do not have a musical question.
Oh, good.
Well, you kind of do, but it's not.
It's a college question.
What college? No, it's not.
Oh, shut up.
It is musical in a way. What famous rapper once lived in Kansas City? Was it?
They have it. People live in Kansas City?
People
On purpose?
Was it Eminem, 50 Cent, or Lil Wayne? One of them actually lived in Kansas City.
Really?
Really?
Do they have a big rap thing going on?
There's a big rap war between Kansas City and St. Louis. The whole state of Missouri is just in an uproar. Famous
I think
rapper
the other two lived in Leavenworth.
What would? I'm not very good when it comes to what do they call it, hip hop. What was the question? What was the answer again? Sorry, the answer?
Famous rappers which one once lived in Kansas City? Eminem, 50 Cent, or Lil Wayne?
What do the kids say?
Oh, he's gonna go with the kids. Okay, Mosette said Eminem, and Little Mo said 50 Cent.
Eminem didn't live in Kansas City, did he? That's rubbish.
Rubbish. That's rubbish.
So,
we haven't played rubbish in a while. We got rubbish on. Rubbish.
So I don't think Eminem there. I'm gonna say 50. You said 50 Cent, so 50 Cent.
I said Little Mo said 50 Cent.
Yeah, I'll go with Little Mo.
He's going with Little Mo. Little Mo said 50 Cent. Oh, Little Mo was wrong. Mosette was right. Eminem.
Really? In Kansas City?
Really actually spent about 5 or 6 years living in Kansas City before he was like 10 years old.
Completely mental.
Of course, you got to remember. He came from Detroit.
Right. Well, he wound up being in Detroit. That's where he, but when he was like 5 to 10 years old, he lived in Kansas City.
There you go.
There you go. No wonder he's messed up. All right, and Mark, here's the situation. Everybody has a point. If you want to take a lead of some kind here, now's the time. Here's your question.
Do I win Brady's wife?
Well, he's been in bed by 8:30, so if you see her after 9, you're in good shape. What famous author began his career as a journalist in the Kansas City Star newspaper? Was it Walt Whitman? Was it Mark Twain? Or was it Ernest Hemingway? Who started in the Kansas City Star newspaper? Walt Whitman, Mark Twain, or Ernest Hemingway?
Oh, wow. Let's see. I will say A, Whitman.
He went with Walt Whitman. Mosette said Mark Twain. Little Mo said Ernest Hemingway. You said Walt Whitman. And I'm sorry. The answer is Ernest Hemingway. Actually started as a journalist in the Kansas City Star newspaper. So, we are all deadlocked at 1. That means that somebody's going to win. And final trivia.
Ooh,
all right. And we're going to go in order here, the following order. We will go with Mark first. We will go with Andy second, and we will go with Matt last. Okay, here we go. Here's your trivia question. How many times in 1990 the Seahawks actually won in Kansas City, breaking a long losing streak? Dave Craig was sacked by Derek Thomas in that game. How many times did Derek Thomas sack Dave Craig in 1990 in Kansas City? So we're starting with Mark. Mark, how many times did Dave Craig get sacked by Derek Thomas that day?
7.
7. Andy?
Oh, man. Just the one guy?
Yeah.
I gotta go 6.
6. Matt?
8.
8. Wow, you guys are all right there. The correct answer is 7. That means Mark is our champion for this round of 12th man halftime trivia. It's time to go to Hotel California, Mark. Congratulations on winning this week's 12th man Fan Jam halftime trivia.
I still remember that game vividly, and it was a rare Sunday where I didn't black out.
Hey! Hooray for that! And we're going to black out just temporarily here. We're going to take a quick break. We'll regather ourselves and get ready to talk about the upcoming game against the Kansas City Chiefs right after this brief break.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
This is 12th Fan View on 12th Man Fan Jam. Let's go to the game. So let it be written. So let it be done.
Welcome to the third quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. So once again, let us join our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you once again, Magic Voice of the 12th Man Fan Jam. This is the third quarter of a very magical Chiefs edition of 12th Man Fan Jam. Congratulations again to halftime trivia champion Statsman Mark. Mark, congratulations again.
Thank you. I look forward to another broken headset or whatever my win is.
A prize chosen especially for you this week. It is there is a special prize. We have the New York Giants Swiss cheese. The holes are a lot bigger than normal. So, congratulations to that.
Is it as old as Tom Coughlin?
It practically is, but holes are so big you can drive a truck through them, just like we did when we ran down the defense. Okay, we're going to talk about. We're putting the Giants game behind us. We're looking forward to the Chiefs game. Some news out of Seattle. I guess the best news, we'll start with Matt. The best news is that apparently for the first time since week 1, the Legion of Boom will be intact. All 4 of the Legion of Boom will be starting on Sunday. I guess that's good news, Matt, is it not?
Yes, good news, but I wouldn't have started with this news story. I'd have started with the whole statement from Tamer the Hawk. I thought that was the best bit of PR marketing I've ever seen ever.
Yes. Agreed. Poor Tamer went wild last Sunday.
I just love the fact that they picked the only bloke in the stadium who clearly had a toupee on.
She was going to make a nest, apparently. Who knew? Congratulations to Tamer and a really class act of apologizing. It's well done. It really was well done. But the Legion of Boom, Matt, they're back together. What are your views on that? Is that something we've missed defensively?
Anyway, no, not necessarily. I don't think we've missed it a great deal. I don't think we're going to miss it in this game coming up necessarily either, as I feel that this one's going to be a sort of a juggernaut run fest. More than anything, so I don't think it's going to make a big. I mean, obviously, I think it's good for morale. I think it's good for the fans because the fans definitely need that little sort of, I don't know, security blanket in the secondary. But no, I don't think it's going to play a big part of this game necessarily.
One person that is also coming back, Zorny, is Malcolm Smith is making a comeback apparently. Kind of shoring up that linebacking crew a little bit. That's got to be good news as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's tough, and we need, at this time of year, you need all the depth you can get, and with the Legion of Boom, I think psychologically, it's just going to be nice for them to all be in the huddle again, and just go from there. So,
Andy, Kansas City is 6-3, but they've kind of, I don't want to say rolled over some people that they've beaten teams that we couldn't. I mean, they trounced St. Louis and. We didn't do that. They beat San Diego. We couldn't do that. But they've also beaten New Jersey, the Jets. They've beaten, the Jets. They beat New England pretty bad. But at home, really, they haven't had a big test like this. They lost to Tennessee big time. Is this team a little bit 6-3? Is that a little bit of a fake 6-3, or do you think they're as good or better as the Seahawks?
I think it's a bit of a fake 6-3. I mean, like you said yourself. I mean. They've played some a couple soft teams, and this is going to be a huge test for them, obviously. Huge test for us as well, obviously. But this is, we're getting to that part of the season where it's go time, right? So this is going to be a real telltale sign for both teams, I think, this week.
Yeah, I do too. Matt, give me a key to the game. Give me something that you think is very important for the Seahawks to win against the Chiefs. What has to happen?
You do not go far behind in points. And we can't do one of those 21 points behind comeback shows in this game. I don't think that's there. Another big key to the game, obviously, is Jamal Charles and Marshawn Lynch, and putting up those two together and seeing which one comes out. I mean, this game really is, to me, it's a meat grind. It's the run juggernaut, battle of the backs. That's what this game is going to be, in my opinion. And I'm going to be really interested to see how this comes out, because I think if Lynch is on his game, we should win this. If Lynch is slightly off his game, it's going to be much closer than that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Andy, what do you think is something that the Seahawks need to do to win this game?
Stop the run, for sure. When I look at the report and I see the name of, Donnie Avery, it's a benefit to the Seahawks. Got one of those kind of guys that can make a... So, it's all going to come down to the run. So if we can stop the run game, I think that's going to be the key.
Mark, what are your thoughts? What's the key to victory, do you think?
Well, we know obviously the points well made on the rushing attack for both sides. I'm just really curious, what pass protection, if any, we're going to get out of this game, because they're going to load the box and try and stop Marshawn. And we're going to have to be able to throw at least efficiently. It doesn't have to be game breakers and deep wet balls down the field. It's but we got to just maintain time of possession and move the chains. Both teams are going to approach it very similarly. But for me, it's trying to get this pass game going a little bit, even though it's going to be 27 degrees. So I guess it'll be frozen balls, that we're throwing.
Slippery balls.
We've made a lot of references to balls tonight, but I like the fact that you said look for deep, wet balls down the field, and I think that's what everybody wants to look for. The kids like that. Kids, you dig that? Kids like their balls. What can I say? One last thing here. The Kansas City Chiefs defense is statistically, they are 20th in the league against running, which I think is encouraging for us. And offensively, they're only 22nd overall, 30th against the pass, only the 5th best rushing team in the NFL. Their defense is first against the pass. So as far as those throwing the ball, I'm with everybody here. We run, we win. I think it is really just that simple.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
We're going to take a quick station identification. We're going to come back with the fourth quarter. We're going to do our game balls, our predictions, our prognostications, and we'll be right back after this.
You're listening to the 12th Man Fan Jam on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
We're the Chiefs, and we're proud, terrible, but we're loud. So jump up and down if you're in the crowd and watch us lose the lead.
And now it's time for the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. Here to lead us through the final quarter is once again our host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Allen Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, welcome back to the fourth quarter of the 12th Man Fan Jam. This is the time where we make our predictions, our prognostications, and game balls. And we'd like to pass along right now that Will, who is en route to Kansas City even as we speak, did send in his predictions. And he said the key to the game to him is tight ends. We need to stop Travis Kelce, and we need to get more production out of Wilson, Helfett, and Moyaki. Score prediction, he says, I can easily come up with a lot of reasons why Seattle will lose this game. So based on how strange this season has been, they will win. 19-17. He's given his game ball to Russell Wilson. They're going to be gearing up to stop Lynch, so Wilson has to step up. And his prognostication this week is he said that he's going to freeze his arse off. So there's his prognostication. And I want to hear what the rest of you had to say about this game. And we'll start with our guest, Andy. Andy, I am so glad you were on the show this evening.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me once again. Really appreciate it. It's always a lot of fun.
Always love to hear from the Canadian side of the Seahawk fans. Do you have a score for us, a prognostication, and a game ball?
Which one do you want first?
Score?
I think the score is going to be 24-10 for Seattle Seahawks.
All right.
I think Marshawn Lynch is going to have another Marshawn Lynch kind of day. It's going to be knockdown. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be bloody. I think that we're going to do a much better job stopping their running game than they're going to do stopping our running game. So I think I'm going to give Marshawn touchdowns on the ground and a touchdown in the air.
How many touchdowns on the ground?
2 on the ground, 1 in the air.
Oh. DD on the ground, 1 on air.
You bet.
That would give him your game ball, I would imagine.
That would give him the game ball, yes.
Okay. Fair enough. Let us go to Mark. Mark, always good hearing from you from California. Give us a quick post on the an update on the 49er faithful out there.
Well, they've been taking off life support for the time being. You know, they were. It was a relief for them to get the win in New Orleans, which was kind of surprising. And now they're going to be facing some cold weather themselves in New York. So we'll see against the Giants.
Well, very good. Do you have a score, a prognostication, and a game ball?
Yeah, I've been posting all week that it will be 20-16 Seahawks. Excuse me. I think that, boy, there's so many things that come to mind for this game, but you know what? I think Russell Wilson's going to have another big day rushing. So I'm going to say 75 yards or more running for Wilson, and I'm going to give him the game ball as well.
Okay, sounds good. And Matt from merry old England. How are you, Matt? You holding up okay?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad.
All right, good.
I've got this down as a win all along, so I don't have one of my, losing feelings or anything.
Yay!
I've got this down as Seahawks 23, Chiefs 17.
Okay.
I'm going to give my game ball to Turbin.
Is that Bruce Turbin?
Yeah, that's Bruce Turbin.
Bruce Turbin. And what about Turbin? What's going to make him so special?
I just think he's got. I don't know. I think he's kind of one of those breakout type of games. I think this is going to be one of the ones. I accept that. I said that this is going to be a running fest. I think it is going to be a running fest. I think they're going to mix it up on the line as they always do. So Lynch will be in for one, and then Turbin and Christine and all that sort of chopping about. But I think he's good. I think Turbin's going to be able to have a bit of a breakout game on this. I think. So I'm going with that. But the actual prognostication, I think there's going to be a safety for us in the second half.
Safety for Seahawks. All right. Yeah. Good. Wow. In the second half, very specific.
Yep.
I like it.
We're better in the second half.
All right. Yes, we are. And I guess it comes down to me now. I'm going to say 27-23 Seahawks. I'm going to go also with Wilson, but I think he's going to account for 3 touchdowns. Now, that may be 2 in the air, 1 in the ground. It may be 3 in the air, none on the ground. But he doesn't get credit for handing the ball off. That he does not get credit for. But as far as either running or throwing a touchdown pass, I think Wilson will have 3 touchdowns this weekend. And obviously, I'm then giving him my game ball because if he scores 3 touchdowns, that's enough to make him the most valuable player of the game. And speaking of valuable, it looks like it's time to bring another valuable, wonderful, amazing 12-man fan jam to a sad close. We are so glad you decided to waste some time with us. It was, as usual, a show that raised the bar here at the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, even though Andy was on. And we certainly hope you... I tease my Canadian friend. We certainly hope you laughed a little. You cried a bit, and maybe, just maybe, you learned a little something along the way. And what did we learn this evening? Well, we learned that Peter Griffin sounds like Ron Jeremy. We learned that we need to learn how to play with moist balls. And Mark taught us to look for deep, wet balls down the field. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, Statsman Mark, our resident throw punch expert from the Great White North, Northernhawk Andy, this is your self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity saying enjoy the game Sunday and go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!
Go Hawks!